Good evening. Well, there. Hello. I'm so tired. I was trying to say, well, hello there. But yeah, for realsies. It's so dark when I do videos. I feel like I'm always in a cave. Um, it's gonna be not too long, but it's like 3 a.m. October 9th. Around there. Let's see the exact time. Let's get some lighting of some sort. I hope everyone's well. 2:55. Okay, yeah, close enough. So, welcome to the Kimberly Ponce channel. I have like 3 memories that are just pressing on my spirit. That I feel led to share. And then I'm gonna try and get at least 3 hours of sleep and then wake up. And I have work in Jersey today, so that'll be fun. I like to travel. In Jersey, like I haven't really checked out Jersey, so I'm excited for that. It's gonna be a good week. I hope for anyone out there that's been feeling, like, when is your time gonna come? When is God gonna come through for me? Does anyone even know? Does anyone even care about what I'm suffering through right now, or feeling impatient on the blessings in your breakthrough? I'm gonna share a couple of things that I hope encourage y'all. So we'll start off with the first memory that's just like been on my spirit. Good. Here's the cap. Okay, good. Sorry, ADHD. I've been like chilling on the couch last couple of hours doing some work and stuff, and taking notes on what betrayal trauma does to the brain, and like trying to take notes on how to heal myself. I'm really doing the work. I'm really doing the work. On literally every front. And I know the harder I work, I don't really, they say the harder you work, the luckier you get. I think the harder I work, the more distracted I am, and time goes by quicker, and then good things come my way because I'm creating a momentum. It's like a whirlpool. You're like creating, like, the harder you like tread water, like the more momentum you're going to make, and you're going to stay afloat the water. So this memory that's been on my spirit, I guess I haven't really admitted it to myself, but I've been, I don't even like to like admit it, but I think there's power in vulnerability, and I think this is good. But I've been a little disappointed in my the area of romance in my life as of past little bit, and I didn't realize that Satan was using my heartbreak to kind of, I don't even like to say that because I just have to, yeah, whatever. It's okay, like it didn't work out, like and so yeah, like the rhetoric on my mind that I was trying not to feed, but it was kind of like, it was on my mind. It was like, nothing ever works out. Like it never works out. Like it never works out. Like nothing ever works out. Like, and I feel like Satan was kind of using that heartbreak. And then I kind of found myself like, overeating a little bit, and like just kind of catching myself in some of those, warfare. Just making sure everything's charged. And those type of warfares, that can kind of come onto us when we're in a vulnerable place. And the memory that was coming to mind is that when I was like a little girl, I was doing something in the back yard or whatever, and I don't think this light needs to be on. This thing's fine. Yeah, we'll just hang out right here. I can't remember exactly what was going on, like, per se, but I remember feeling like in that moment, it wasn't fair. Like, it wasn't something about the situation. And I grew up the youngest out of a family of like 9,000 or something like that. And I remember being like upset at the time or something. And I just was like, I told my stepmom, I was like, well, that's not fair. And, I've like disclosed a little bit about my experience with my family, but basically, grew up and wasn't really ever treated, correctly. Whose family is perfect, right? But I mean, like, really was never treated. It was always abusive and toxic, which is why I don't have any connection with any family except for Facebook messaging my brother from time to time. And even then the toxicity kind of seeps through, and I'm a way to heal from all the years of being mistreated. And so it was also, this is kind of like a deep message, but what was also, and I promise it's going to like warp into a positive message and be uplifting and encouraging, because I know my breakthrough is right around the corner. And I remember like the look that my stepmom gave me, like, and she, like, for some reason we were out in like the backyard, but it was like we were like doing something with like the garbage, and we were like doing chores or something, and then she like threw something into like the trash can, and like we were walking together or something, and I was like, I think we were talking about something, and I was like, well, that's not fair. And then she like, the way she looked at me and the animosity like that came through, and she like slammed the lid of the garbage can and then looked at me and was like, well, life's not fair. And I remember feeling like I remember feeling even more alone in that moment as like a little girl, and isolated in what I was going through. There was no compassion. It was just, well, life's not fair. And like, I have to thank her for telling me that in the moment, because I did end up, living this life, experiencing a lot of things that are unfair, and like in a way that kind of prepared me. But also at the same time, I wanted to reflect and make a video that was, wow, if I only knew how much of this life was really unfair. I would have, I don't know. You're just kind of surprised, like when we're like little kids and we think that the poster of the cat hanging on the limbs and then it says hang in there, like we think that's cute and funny, and we high five our best friend, and then we go and get lunch and then have recess, and everything is such a different, simpler life when you're younger. But if we knew that poster like was going to be literally hanging on for dear life, like most of your young adult years, like in the 20s, we'd be like, oh wow, maybe we should stick around in elementary or middle school a little bit longer. Like this is a little bit of like a boohoo, pobrecito, like historia, but it's also like, I hope somebody can relate to the fact that sometimes it does just seem like, what is that character in the Bible? Esau? Like his life was like kind of like predisposed to be disadvantaged like his entire life. And I don't know, I guess I can read some more about that, but I've also been having thoughts about like how I feel maybe God I was thinking about turning it into a joke, but I also don't want to like mock God. But I also feel like there's a certain extent where it feels like we go through so much pain. I'm like, does God, to a certain extent, like, in my darkest moments, I would kind of be making jokes to myself, like, well, God obviously must be like a sadist, like enjoys inflicting pain on people and just seeing how they handle it, just seeing how they just give this little 6-year-old girl leukemia and see how her family handles it, or like God just obviously must be like a sadist who enjoys like, and so there's like, so it can spiral into thoughts where I start to betray my faith, and that's exactly what Satan wants you to do. And I'm opening up to you guys and sharing with you like what goes on in my noggin, but that's exactly what Satan wants to happen, is where you go through life and it trips you up so much where you betray your own faith with God, and you replace God with worldly, lean into other things as a means to cope and understand, and maybe even numb yourself from all of the pain and things that aren't even okay to experience, but we do experience, and that's life. And so I do have to thank my stepmom for kind of sharing that with me at a young age. Well, life isn't fair, but that's something that kind of keeps popping up. I'm like, yeah, it really isn't. Like, it's brutally unfair. So in those moments, do your absolute best to count at least like 5. And I've been trying to like count, write down gratitude notes in my journal, like what it is that I'm grateful for, because